scholars. Criminalized race. We are the poverty scholars. Criminalized, racialized, and always in struggle for $1. We're all the people you don't want to see, never want to be. Look away from me. What you gonna do? Arrest me? We're in your city. We are the poverty scholars, and I rock my jailhouse attire because me and my poor mama did the poverty crime of being houseless in this stolen territory. We are the poverty scholars. I am the melanin challenged daughter of a strong Afro-Boricua mama, for without whom there would be no me. A mama soltera and a welfare queen.
Yes!
Welcome to Poverty Poor News Network. That's Revolutionary Poor People's Radio. Passing off to my sister June Bug.
I'm the gangster homemaker, radical teacher, educated ghetto girl, the S-U to the P to the E to the R, baby, mama, a mixed breed, June Bug.
So tonight we're going to have the first of a series of revolutionary discussions, dialogues, mix it up, conversations, conversating on the issue of race in the 21st century, or what we call mixed race in the 21st century. Us undercover girls of color be talking about stuff that is actually running through these streets of the stolen Americlan like blood in the rivers. So we're going to have a beginning of a conversation, and it's going to be hard to hear. It's going to bring up a lot of things, but in this stolen territory, it's necessary that people be hating on each other for all kinds of reasons, not just poverty and class, but race and culture and our communities, and that is what they feed on. So this, the goal for us is to actually have this conversation to start the healing. I'll pass it to start it off. Kick it off, JB.
Well, today, 21st century, all the education we have, all the technology we have, and yet racism still exists. And systematic oppression still exists. How do we combat systematic oppression? How do we combat racism?
Racial.
How do we erase that? How do we stop it? How do we dismantle it? Being a person of mixed heritage, being a person who is classified as more than one race, racism has psychologically affected me in a way that it'll make you want to kill yourself. It'll make you want to hate yourself. Systematic oppression causes internalized oppression. It causes internalized racism. And when you live in a world where people are conditioned to think of race in a certain way, and when you tell somebody, I'm actually this, when they assumed you were something else. Or on paperwork, you're identified one way, but in interpersonal relationships, you're identified in another way. I'd like to talk a little more, I'm hoping, throughout this dialogues, because tonight is just the intro and orientation, I guess I should say, to this conversation. I don't necessarily have like a professor curriculum to share. It's very hard to talk about, yet it's something I constantly always talk about.
That's right.
Because I have to. It affects my life. Every time I go to do something or get something, what are the things that we asked? We're asked, what is your race? What is your ethnicity?
So,
check one box. Mark all that apply.
So people watching in YouTube Landia right now and listening on KEXU might say, well, you two white girls, what the fuck? I'm just being real, right? I must be in real talk, because I will right now say, as I sit in this Alameda County jail suit, which I did not get from Alameda County, but I got from the Arkansas penitentiary where they sell them for $5. That I would lie about my age, the job that I did not have. I would say as a 12-year-old that I was making $65,000 a year to landlords and scam lords and America-KKK, and they would believe me when my mama, a mixed-race woman of color, would go in, a single parent, trying to get the same apartment and tell her no. Because racism is alive and well in America-KKK, aka Americlan, as I love to call it. So, I walk through the world, people think I'm white. And they would wonder, what's your problem, white girl? So in that reality, right, we have this so-called skin privilege. And the question is, how does the trauma of our ancestors inform that infiltration? That's kind of what I'm sort of getting right now, feeling.
Well, for me, it all depends on the lens, like from my experience, on how people see me. So I get usually, majority of the time I get, are you Puerto Rican? You must be Puerto Rican. And I'm like, okay, I could be a Puerto Rican, because to me, what does it mean to be a Puerto Rican? To me, it means to be mixed. I've been asked, are you Creole? I'll be your Creole. Creole means to be mixed. The truth is, I'm a Polynesian. And a Polynesian means I'm a mix of 3 races together. Black, white, and yellow. Hello. I am African descent. I am of Asian Mongoloid descent. And I'm of European descent. A Polynesian in America is America's best kept secret. The fact that I also look the way I do, I'm a quadrille. I'm the hyperdescent black girl. I'm an invisible person of color. Unless you see me through a certain lens. Unless you've been exposed to people who look like me. Quadroon is a term that you don't really hear a lot. We hear the term mulatto, but we never hear the term quadroon. What is a quadroon? It is a black person with European features. It is a person who can pass in society as white. People need to look at 1949 Pinkin, 1959 Imitation of Life. All of these girls were quadroons who could pass as white. But the truth is they had African heritage running through their blood. It's very rare to meet quadroons too. But I find them. And the dialogues that we have are very deep. And it's almost like we're in a group of our own.
That's right. When those cops were throwing me and my mom against the wall because we were sleeping in our car in the rich white people neighborhood of Oakland and Berkeley, they didn't ask what race I was. They immediately saw my mama and assumed that she was a person of color and I must be with her. The issue of race as it impacts or intersects with poverty then becomes something that you said, which is that poverty is a culture.
Yes.
Right? And it's something that I think we really need to get into, because part of the thing is there's a lot of folks with perhaps different forms of race and class privilege out there who might be watching us and wondering, well, how does it affect me? Well, when you are someone who walks through the world not whether your next meal is going to be there, whether you're going to get that welfare check on time, and if you do, you're going to feed your kids, whether that roof's going to be over your head because you just got your displacement order or your gentrification or your radification out of these fake projects, it's a little bit different, right? But if you're a person who deals with that, then you're getting into the issue of poverty as a culture. Then you're getting into how do we inform our position in the world. There's hella folks, as we both know, who no matter what color their melanin challenge, whatever level of melanin they have in their skin, they're going to be rolling against poor people. That's how they roll. The question then becomes, where does that leave poor people? And I know we're going to get into this in further weeks, but where does that leave the poor white person? Part of my family's poor white trash, so I'm going to claim that. The other part of my side is Taino and Boricua, so I'm not going to claim those lousy things. And then the other side of my diaspora is African and living with all of those people is really difficult, because again, these are all displaced, removed, hated, and separated people.
I would like to encourage people to research. I'm somebody who, I'm a seeker. I like to seek the truth, and I like to hear different people's stories. And I suggest people to read Bell Hooks, called Class Matters. It's a good book that addresses classism and how it parallels with racism. And I would also recommend the reading called One Day She'll Darken by Fanu Lana, about a girl who also lived her life, who was mixed and could pass as white. And it talks about her story and the struggle she went through.
And also, for last reading for tonight, and then we're going to sign off, is Rabbit Proof Fence. It is a movie, but it's required reading from Mama D on the position of the Quadrille, on the way the Empire destroyed and leached the indigenismo out of Aboriginal peoples as a way of destroying their culture and taking them off their land. So that's going to be it for tonight. Tune in next week. This is Poor People's Revolutionary Radio on KEXU 96.1 FM.
Peace.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Say it again.
Yeah, yeah.
Say it again.
Yeah, yeah.
Say it again. Yeah, yeah.
Our youth scholars. 96.1.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Yeah, yeah, what?